Hello everyone, it's your girl Christina. I'm back with another bullet journal setup, but this one is for my sister's bullet journal. This one is going to be a fun one because I am whipping out all of my vintage stationery, and it's been a minute since I've done that. So looking at my stationery, it's like I just bought it. Like I'm looking at new stationery. I'm seeing it with a different lens and feeling so inspired. So before shooting this video, I went ahead and curated the various stationery I would be using for the spread. I kind of have to do that because it takes so much time, especially for a bullet journal spread. There's multiple pages, so I want all of the pieces to be one cohesive theme. If it were only 2 pages, I could show what my process is like when deciding what stationery I would use and how I place them on the page. I have been thinking about starting a vintage reading journal, so with a shorter video like that, I could share what my process is like. Whenever I create a vintage spread, I find that the primary color of the spread is almost always brown, tans, and neutrals. I mean, is it even vintage if it isn't these colors? So the big decision with a vintage bullet journal spread is an accent color. So as you can see, this month will be purple. I've done a lavender vintage bullet journal theme before, so I wanted this to be different. I didn't want to feel confined to one type of flower. So you'll see splashes of purple anything. We have butterflies, stamps, flowers, and even cardstock. This lilac cardstock is actually from Daiso. I mentioned these items in my last Daiso haul, and the minute I saw these on the shelf, I snatched these up so fast because they're small. They're like 5x7 cards, and then each pack had about 10 different shades. This lilac came in a cooler tone pack, and then I noticed there was another one right next to it, and that one had warmer tones. I just knew I would use these. These come in handy for bullet journal spreads like this. So next, I'm taking a piece. It looks like vintage paper from a book. It's the one that says Cinderella at the top. I ripped that in half, and after seeing it with the other pieces of stationery, I wasn't feeling it. I think it's because the lilac paper is also ripped in half. It's just too many ripped pieces. Luckily, I have multiple pieces of that same stationery, so I'm just going to use another one, just not rip it. It looks so much better when it's whole. Right now, I'm just taking the pieces and putting them in place to make sure it all looks good. And then I'll use my Tombow adhesive tape to stick everything to the page. Right now, I'm just taking the pieces and putting them in place to make sure it all looks good. And then I'll use my Tombow adhesive tape to stick everything to the page. I also used a glue stick for the thicker pieces of stationery. I mean, I love this Cinderella stationery, but I don't think I want Cinderella, like the actual words, to be seen. So I'm tearing a piece of cardstock and covering that up. This is also going to be where I write September. And I think I'm going to use stamps for that. I haven't used these stamps in a while. I kind of had to hide them from myself because I think I used them in everything when I first got them. It was kind of hard not to. The color of the ink I'm using is brown. It initially looks dark, like black, but once it dries, it's brown ink. Since there is so much going on the cover page, I'm keeping the quote page simple with some torn pieces of stationery for the corner of the pages and some stickers. The circular stickers are also from Daiso. You know, when I shoot these stationery hauls, whether it's from an inexpensive store like Daiso or, I don't know, something pricier like Cloth and Paper, best believe I will use it. I don't like buying stationery just to make content. I do not like stationery sitting in my office going unused. I don't like hoarding. Even if I don't use it, I'll give it to my sister or nieces. The following 2 pages are for the monthly overview and just space for my sister to list her goals. I always find September a tough month to develop a bullet journal theme because it's a transitional month. We're in between summer and fall. Like, I want a Halloween bullet journal setup, but it's way too early, or maybe another summer bullet journal theme, but it's like, I already did that. So that's the position I was in coming up with not only my sister's bullet journal, but also mine. So I felt a little stumped this month. However, I love how my sister's bullet journal is turning out. Every month, I come up with 2 bullet journal setups, and I always find that one out of the 2 I'm completely obsessed with how it turned out. And then the other is slacking in some ways. Like, so for instance, I wasn't really happy with the weekly setup in my September bullet journal theme. It's never a good feeling, especially when it's your own bullet journal, because you have to see it every day. And I mean, luckily it is a weekly setup, so at least I can redeem myself in next week's setup. But as many of you know, I have a theme for my bullet journal this year. And this is my first time doing this. It's a lot of fun, and I kind of want to do it again next year. Vintage journaling is definitely an option. And then the second option is Archer and Olive. They actually have like a monthly sticker kit that would be cool to use for a bullet journal theme every month. You know, depending if my sister is using a bullet journal for 2023, I might do both. But what do you guys think of these 2 options? Let me know in the comments down below. Should I do vintage bullet journaling or Archer and Olive monthly sticker kits? The reason I want either one of these options and maybe less drawing is that I need something that isn't going to be so much pressure. I'm having a baby, so I don't know if I'll have as much free time as I do now. So I'm trying to set that up for myself because I still want to bullet journal. Plus, I wanted to learn how to paint clouds. I know that sounds super random, but if you all have been keeping up with my channel, you might recall that I did purple clouds for my 2022 bullet journal setup. But I just felt like that was a complete fail. I was not too fond of that setup. I barely filled it out. And it's because I struggled with painting the clouds. So this year's theme wasn't supposed to be the 70s. It was actually supposed to be clouds. Although I still want to do that. But I need to give myself a lot of time to perfect that skill. I don't know why, but painting clouds is extremely hard for me. So if I can accomplish that next year, I think my theme for 2024 would be clouds. So that's just, it's so funny. I don't ever remember telling any of you that, but that's what happened. Anywho, I am finishing up with the weekly setup. So here is the flip through. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I had so much fun creating this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!